This semester here is going to be used to review a lot of material. That's just one of the things it's going to do. The goal for that review is to ensure you have the foundational processes under control. If you remember, I told you last semester that a lot of the things we were learning were the foundational ideas. The goal in your bell ring, whenever you get a chance to do that stuff, is to master each of those concepts so that you don't forget how to perform them. Just do your best whenever you see those bell ringers to complete all the work, and you will definitely benefit from the practice. But outside of the review, what we're going to be doing is looking at processes that apply some of those foundational concepts. So it's going to take some of the things we know and actually use them. Next week, we're going to look at graphing lines. So in order to help you prepare for that work, we're going to take a look at the concept of what graphing actually is. Most equations in math can be represented visually on that Cartesian plane, which we just call a grid or whatever graph. The visual representation is called a graph. For some equations, it does take a bit of work to accomplish. For others, we can just use patterns to make life a little bit easier. Today, what we're going to do is look at the process from the most basic mode with no shortcuts. That is for you to notice as we practice. So you can look at it and kind of see what we're doing at some point. But for right now, we're just going to kind of go right to it. So one of the things we're going to do, let's see if I can get what I'm supposed to get. If this thing is out of order, I think it's out of order, or is it? No, I just messed up there. So the note guide that we had in class, and you can see it on your PDF section if you want it, is use the equation y equals 2x minus 3 to answer each question. So again, what we're going to do is complete the table. I'm giving you the value for x, and I want you to figure out the value that goes for y. So if we plug in 0, again, if you need to use a calculator, fine, just plug in 2 parentheses, because remember we plug in using parentheses 0 minus 3, which gives us the answer of -3. Then again, if you want to change that, you use the arrow up. Again, this is me showing you something. Use the arrow up to highlight it, which is like copy. Hit the enter button, which is at the bottom, to paste. That brings that down. And then what you can do is scroll over, change that 0 into a 1, which is what we want now, which is a -1, and then go from there. But if you're at least decent with your numbers, you can literally just take it in. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5, but that's the bottom line there. Now what we're going to do is plot all those points. So 0, -3 means, remember the plotting, don't move left or sorry, how is y changing on each step? If you notice, don't look here, but look here at least. If you notice, this is going up 2, this is going up 2. This is also going up 2 and up 2, because if you check it out, -3 plus 2 is -1. -1 plus 2 is also going to be your next number, which is 1. So it's adding 2. If we were to plot this, you would notice it's 0, -3, which means don't go left or right, just go 3 down. 1, -1, which means 1 over 1 down. 2, 1, which means over 2 up 1. 3, 3, which means over 3 up 3. And 4, 5. What you should notice about those points is that they are in a straight line. There's that part. You can use the shadow kind of as your guide, but those things are in a straight line. So that is something that you want to notice. Again, they are all in a straight line. If we move on to the second one and do the same thing, again, feel free to use your calculator, feel free not to use your calculator, whatever it would be. But the first thing you want to be able to do on your quiz this week is complete this table. So we take this thing and we do -3, parentheses, -1, close, plus 3. We get the answer of 6. Again, if you want to do that, we hit the arrow to highlight it, hit the enter to copy it. Now there's a negative there, but we don't want it. And notice that there's a delete button here. So delete that negative, put the 0 in its place, get your answer there, which is 3. And like I said, we just kind of work our way down the line from there. So highlight, copy, change 0 into 1, which makes that 0. Highlight, copy and paste, turn that 1 into a 2, which gives me the answer of -3. Once again, highlight, copy and paste, turn that 2 into a 3, which gives me the answer of -6. This is called a table of values or table of points. How is y changing? Well, to me, from 6 to 3 would be down 3. From 3 to 0 would be down 3. Guess what? 0 to 3 is also down 3, and negative 3 and negative 6 is also down 3. So pretty much it is subtracting 3 each step. So 6 minus 3 is 3, 3 minus 3 is 0, 0 minus 3 is negative 3, negative 3 minus 3, and just here's your proof, is negative 6. All right. So when we plot these points again, negative 1, 6 would be back 1 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 3 would be 1, 2, 3. 1, 0 would be here. 2, negative 3 here, and then 3. Negative 6 is here. And again, what do you notice about these points? This is where you have to start paying attention to patterns. These points are again in a straight line. All right. So that is what we should notice. All right. Again, with that being the case, moving on to number 3, x plus y equals 5. Well, in this case, you kind of have to use a little bit of algebra, or we could just use our common sense here. If x is 0, 0 plus what is equal to 5? That has to be 5, because 0 plus 5 is 5. If x is 1, 1 plus what equals 5? That would be 4. If x is 2, 2 plus what equals 5 would be 3. If x was 3, 3 plus what equals 5 would be 2. If x was 4, 4 plus what is 5 would be 1. So again, 0 plus 5 is 5, 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 4 plus 1 is 5. If we were to plot these, 0, 5 would be 5 up, if you remember. 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, and 4, 1. And again, what do you notice about these points? I'm not going to write it, but you should notice again that they're in a straight line. That is the pattern that you need to kind of catch up here. If you're looking here, x minus y is equal to 2. Well, if x is 0, 0 minus what is equal to 2? Well, let's just go ahead and work that out. 0 minus y equals 2. That means that we would, of course, have the 0 go away because it's not there. If you remember last semester, I said you can't have a negative on the y, so you switch your y, which means you switch to 2. Y would be negative 2. 1 minus y is 2. I don't know that in my head, so again, I'm going to write it out and use the algebra that I know to use. Here, I have to subtract 1, so we get negative y, because remember that y is negative, equals 1. I can't have a negative y, so I'm going to turn that into a positive y, which means I turn that into a negative 1. Now here's where it gets easier. 2 minus what is 2? Well, 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus what is 2? Well, 3 minus 1. And you could do the algebra if you want, but again, it's easier once the numbers make sense. 4 minus what is 2? That would be 2. Plotting these points, 0, negative 2 means go down 2. 1, negative 1 means over 1, down 1. 2, 0 means over 2 and don't move. 3, 1 means over 3 and up 1. 4, 2 means we're looking here, and once again, what do you notice about the points? They are again a straight line. That is the purpose of what we're doing today. So using what we experienced, which of these makes the most sense for the equation x plus y equals 3? A or B? Again, you're not graphing these. You're looking at these two graphs and saying, which of these makes the most sense to me as being the graph of x plus y equals 3? Well, based off what we saw, straight line, is this a straight line? Well, if you connect them, it kind of goes like this, so no. But if you look at this, it is a straight line, which means that this would be the most common sense choice of the two. So what you have to start doing, and what the reason why we're doing this is so that you can kind of start using your common sense to work through some things and go from there. Your work today is going to focus more on completing the tables. We're not going to look at the tricky problems because the point of the activity is to build some of the basic skills needed. Just do your best to work through the material. Use algebra like we did to solve when needed. After you finish the main problems, just use the other ones to practice the skills you've learned so far. Some of the problems here are also to extend your thinking, so ask for help as you need it. Again, shoot me an email if you need to do that. What I'm going to do now, because you can go ahead and work through that worksheet, and then I'll come back. I'm going to pause the video in about 5 seconds, but again, pause it and work out as much as you can, and then you can get the answers from me doing this stuff here. I'm just going to quickly work through it. So if you're on the video, I'm going over the answers now. This would be 1. This would be 5. This would be 9. This would be 13. This would be 17. Y is changing by adding 4. Here, that would be 5. This would be, what, 3? That would be -4, which would be 1. That would be 6, which is -1. I'm sorry, -6. That would be -8, which is -3. In this case, it's going down 2 every step, which is what we are looking at on number 2. If you were looking at this, 0 plus 8 is 8, 1 plus 7, 2 plus 6, 3 plus 5, 4 plus 4. This is subtracting 1 every step. Doing this one, if we were, again, hopefully you did this already. 2 times 0 plus 10 is 10. 2 times 2, which would be 2, plus 8 would be 10. 2 times 2, which would be 4, plus 6 would be 10. 3 times 6 plus 4 would be 10. And 8 plus 2 would be 10. If you made this table right, these here would all be subtracting 2. Again, send me an email on the questions you need explained, and I can give you a better explanation for it. Here, create your own table. If you remember the tables that we've done, it's pretty much where now you're going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, and then work them out. So 5 times 0 is 0 plus 7, which is 7. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 7, which is 12. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 7, which is 17. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 7, which is 22. That would be 20 plus 7, which is 27. How is it changing? It's adding 5. And again, if you're asked to create a table, it's going to be the same thing. If you have your own choice, just use 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, or however far it goes. And once again, if x is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, plus 20 would be 20. And again, use the algebra if you need to. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus what is 20 would be 17. 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 14 equals 20. If that was 3, that would be 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 plus 11 equals 20. If this is 4, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 8 equals 20. How is this changing? It's subtracting 3 on each step. Another key understanding is finding the x and y intercept. The x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. What is the x-intercept on this graph? Well, if we see a y here and an x here, this is your x-axis, and this crosses at 2. So your x-intercept in this case is 2. That's what you need to be able to know. And again, this is a test quiz question. Your x-intercept is 2. Your y-intercept is a location where it crosses the y-axis. So if you want the y-intercept, find the y-axis, which is this one. Where does this cross? It also crosses at 2. So if you understand that and you had to place 2 points on the graph, then you would say, well, my x-intercept of 4 means go on the x-axis where 4 is, which puts it here. If my y-intercept is 1, go on the y-axis where y is 1, which is here. And that would be the 2 points that you put on that graph. All right. From there, again, basic work, -5, -5, 4x equals 20, divide by 4, divide by 4, x equals 5. You want to make sure you've got that stuff down so you know what you're doing. +2, +2, 7x equals 21, divide by 7, divide by 7, x equals 3. This is the question I told you is going to pop up pretty soon. The only thing we can do right now is multiply, so you end up with 10 equals 6 plus x. We then subtract 6 from both sides, getting 4 equals x. The only thing we can do here is multiply, so 4 equals 10 plus x. We subtract 10, 4 minus 10 is -6 equals x, and that is that. Here, again, the only thing we can do is multiply. -4 equals 14 plus x. When we subtract our 14, those are both negative, so remember they go together. Give you the answer of -18 for your x. Remember, I told you that slope is also going to be important, and remember the way that I do that is I just go ahead and put the points in. But again, because we have gotten to the point where we know what we're doing, I don't need to do anything else but hit the N over D button and do the work. 14 minus 2 on top, 7 minus 5 on the bottom. Final answer is 6. It's not about showing your work on the slope this time around because you already showed it. Here we have 6 and 9, we have 10 and 1. And so what we're going to do again is take the n over d button, create a fraction. You're going to do 1 minus 9 on top. You're going to do 10 minus 6 on the bottom. And you end up with -2 as your slope. Here, same thing. Arrange your numbers and use your calculator. N over d, you're doing -12. Remember, the negative button is the one by the decimal point. So -12 minus 6 on top. 4 minus -2. Remember, that's minus a negative because both of those look different. Equals -3. And then even if they give you a bunch of negatives, who cares? We have a calculator. You just have to make sure you know how to use it. So you would type in your n over d -23 minus -3 over 3 minus -1, which gives me the final answer of -5. So again, it's more important that you're learning how to get that answer efficiently, not so much fast, but efficiently, so you can actually get what you need to get out of it. Don't forget distributive property, which is still going to be important. This is 2x plus 6. Don't forget the negative changes it, so it would be -6x minus 42. That this would be -3x plus 12. That this would be 20x minus 30. And that this would be -8x plus, because that's a negative to a negative, 28. If you were asked to do the distributive property and rewrite the equation, all that means is take this thing and distribute that 5 all the way across. So we would get 10x, we would get plus 15y, but that would turn this to equals 50. All right. And then if you ever distribute a negative, all it's going to do is change the sign to be -6x plus 5y equals -11. So outside of that, just make sure you understand what's going on. Again, shoot me an email if you don't, so I can try to help you out, but you got to be clear about what you need. I might ask you to show me some work or explain what you did, and I'll try to help you out from there. But outside of that, I'll talk to you later. Good luck.